How's it going, guys? Alex here. Welcome back to another Dokkan Battle video, and today I am joined by Truth, and we are going to be going over the top 5 units for the Revived Warrior category. Of course, this is the category that is supposedly coming to Global next, as it was recently translated. But I'm excited to go over this one, just because it did come up on my list on my favorite categories now. But what do you have to say about that?
Well, I do really like a couple of these categories that are like massive. Like this one, the Buu Saga team and the Hybrid Saiyan teams, they have so many different units and like so many different team options. So it's good to kind of go through the entire list and see which ones are best.
And this list will most likely change in a few weeks' time when Extreme Z Awakened Cell comes along. But for now, this is what it's going to look like. I'm kind of hoping that it doesn't change too drastically. But again, keep in mind that this video was made on the 15th of January. So if you ever come back to it at some point, or you're watching it a few months down the road, keep in mind that this list is most likely going to be a bit old, and it will probably need a few updates. And one of the top comments that I get quite frequently on these videos is that I probably shouldn't include the legendary rares, just because it's a bit unfair, I suppose, because not everyone is going to have access to those units. But what we are going to do today is I'm going to have one list that we are just quickly going to glance over that includes the LRs, and then just one without the LRs that we are going to go a bit more in depth. So to start off with the LR list, and it's pretty straightforward. Of course, there are 3 legendary rares for this particular category. In the 5th spot, we have Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. In the 4th spot, Golden Frieza. When it comes to the LRs, we have Bojack in 3rd, Majin Vegeta in 2nd, and Broly in 1st. And you agree completely with that, right?
I would put Super Saiyan 3 Bardock over Frieza, but outside of that, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, and that's fair enough. I mean, we spoke about it before. You don't really like Golden Frieza's tanking all that, well, not tanking, but like his damage output all that much, and his link set. But I think that when it comes to a villain team, which is what the LRs are mostly, it works a bit better with him, because he isn't like his super reduction to the super types doesn't really kick in that much.
Yeah, but I mean, Frieza doesn't really work alongside any of the LRs. Like, he doesn't share any links with like any of them. So it's Frieza.
That's the biggest issue.
Frieza he's a good unit, but he's definitely underwhelming in a few spots.
Yeah, and that's interchangeable. So I mean, it personally comes down to what you prefer. If you have a unit like Agility Golden Frieza and INT Golden Frieza on your team, and you pair them up, then INT Golden Frieza will hit substantially harder because of the amount of links that they share with each other.
Yeah,
but,
for sure.
Yeah, but if you have the Bardock and you don't have like a Super Saiyan 3 Goku, it's like, who is he linking up with? But then again, it's just so specific. If you have certain units, this one could be higher than the other. But if you have another one, this could be higher than the other. I think it's a 1A, 1B situation. I think they are basically on the same level, but certain scenarios make one better than the other. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, it's just kind of how these categories are. Like,
it's kind of all over the place, isn't it?
Because most teams in the game, like, someone could say, like, oh, well, you can't expect everyone to have LRs, or you can't expect everyone to have this. But, like, the category teams are designed to have, like, tons of LRs and 120% leads, Dokkan Fest exclusives on it. So, to be honest, there's not a lot of categories that are running full power without a ton of Dokkan Fest exclusives or LRs. Like, yeah, all of them are focused completely on that. So,
well, apart from Shadow Dragons, they just got destroyed.
I mean, well, but at the same time, they do have, Physical Omega, AGL Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, and then obviously Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta as well, yeah.
I'm curious to see if they ever go back and update those categories, because I think they will at some point.
Oh, for sure. I mean, there's eventually going to be better versions of all these characters. That's why these categories are always going to be getting buffed. There's eventually going to be a new Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta, so that will change the outlook of the Shadow Dragon category. Stuff like that all the time will pop up.
Yeah, and one thing that, for that particular category is we still need that Universal Spirit Bomb Goku. That's one thing we haven't seen yet.
That's true, that's true. I would say that feels like an LR, but they literally already did do an LR Spirit Bomb Goku, so...
Yeah.
Maybe just a TUR.
I was thinking that as well, but an LR would be cool. Okay, so now moving on to the actual list. And there are a few spots where it's like, okay, why him? But we'll try to explain it as best as we can. But in the 5th spot, we have the physical Super Saiyan 2 bot. He's a Super Saiyan 2, isn't he? Or is that
no,
the
he's
STR
Super
one?
Saiyan 1.
Yeah, that's the STR one that goes Super Saiyan 2.
Yep.
So Super Saiyan Bardock, of course, Dokkan awakened quite recently with the mask. I'll say quite recently, depends on what version you are on, from the Mask Saiyan event. And he's pretty solid. He is more of a support unit, but it goes back to what we were saying before with Golden Frieza and potentially not exactly linking up too well with a few units on that team. So when you have a support unit like Bardock that provides the key and has a pretty solid link set as well, it can make up for issues like that. And you said this yourself, that he doesn't link up that well with the LRs, but when you have a unit like Bardock in play, it could work out a bit better.
Yeah, one thing too with the categories is that, like, a lot of units don't really mesh that well, and there's very few support type units that cover, like, all bases. Like, you know, a lot of them will give buffs to either super type allies or extreme type allies, and then of course there's a ton of supports that just give buffs to, you know, one color, you know, AGL, SCR, whatever. But Bardock is actually just flat out all allies. So he will give this buff, the 2 key and the, what is it, just 20% attack to all allies, but it doesn't matter if it's Angel Golden Frieza, doesn't matter if it's the LRs, Super Saiyan 3 Goku, Super Saiyan 3 Bardock. He'll buff them all, which is really, really helpful. One other, like, dark horse with this unit is the fact that he has the First Awakened, which is, what, a 25% attack link? You know, you give that buff to Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and look the fuck out.
Yeah, exactly. It just gives such a massive increase, and it's worth having it. And it goes back to what I was saying about particular situations making a certain unit better than the other. Primarily Golden Frieza and the Bardock, because they are both incredible units. But then again, like we said, Golden Frieza does have that passive where he reduces the attack of your super types, which could cause a few issues there. And it basically makes the boost that the Super Saiyan 3 Bardock gets from the Super Saiyan Bardock a bit pointless. So it's a bit of an interesting category. If you have the Golden Frieza, primarily, it's kind of going to, like, restrict your super type allies, which is why it's, I would say, the majority of the time, if you have the LRs, it's better to go for a more villain-centric team. For example, units like Demon King Piccolo, who aren't on this list, are incredible as well. Meta cooler because of what they provide in terms of their passives. But unfortunately, they didn't make the list because they aren't as universal as the Super Saiyan Bardock.
Right.
So, number 4, it's just such a shame because he is honestly, would you say he's the most underrated 120 lead when it comes to the villain side?
I mean, I guess, because, like, everyone knows Cooler is good. Super 7, well, I
think Super 17 is on the rise.
Yeah, because, like, I remember when he came out on Global, everyone was like, oh, Super 17 is definitely getting a buff. And it's like, well, he doesn't really need it. Like, he's good. Really, the only addition to Super 17 that would really help him, I think, is Big Bad Bosses. Outside of that, he's perfectly fine, I think.
And I honestly think this is the case, but, like, after people used or have seen gameplay of Ella Black and Zamasu, they managed to see the potential in Super 17. And they were like, okay, if Ella Black and Zamasu, they are basically the same units when it comes to the same, like, to certain specifics. And I think people saw that and they were like, okay, Ella Black and Zamasu, they are actually really good. So I'm going to give Super 17 a chance. And he basically does the same. Like, in certain areas, he needs that build-up. He has that damage reduction. He may not hit as hard as some of the other 120% leads, but he is still up there. The one thing that restricts him, I think, honestly, is just the fact that people don't like the Super 17 character, so you don't see that many. And the fact that he doesn't have big bad bosses, because that is here missing out on a potential 25% attack and defensive increase, which could, you know, increase his damage output massively. But when it comes to the Kid Buu, which is, of course, the number 4 spot, what he really lacks is just the key links. The attack links are there. He has big bad bosses, Nightmare, Fierce Vassal. He has those main links. But when it comes to the key links, it's just like, oh, okay, it doesn't really work out well, especially on this team. I mean, I kind of want to say that on INT, it does work out a bit better because you can run units like Android 13. You can have Android 18 as well to make up for the lack of key links there because, of course, they are orb changes. But if you were to try to implement him into an optimal team that includes the LRs, it's just going to be hard to include him.
Well, I mean, Kid Buu, he doesn't have Nightmare. God, do I wish he did. But he does have Brutal Beatdown, which...
Oh, he doesn't have Nightmare?
No, he doesn't. But Brutal Beatdown he does have with Angel Golden Frieza. So that is something that I missed before.
Brutal Beatdown is like a what? 25%? Or 50?
10% attack.
10% attack is still a massive increase. I think that's equivalent to... Isn't that equivalent to Nightmare? I want to say it is.
Yeah, Nightmare is 10% as well.
Yeah, still 10%. So... Even without Nightmare, this man is still a beast. He's potentially getting... So, Fist Battle is 15%. Brutal Beatdown is 10%, so that's 25%. Plus Big Bad Bosses, that is a 50% attack increase. And that takes him over, what, 200% in terms of attack increases?
Yeah, because, I mean, this is... I mean, we could kind of, I guess, talk about it a little bit since Angel Golden Frieza is coming up next. But that's another reason Angel Golden Frieza himself doesn't have Big Bad Bosses. So... Like, some of these units, like, it's kind of a mishmash. None of them, like, really fit perfectly here. So, like, you could get other villains in the team. Because I guess, like, the whole premise here is that, like, you know, we're not including the LRs in this 5. So, like, if you don't have them, you're probably going to be primarily building the team around the villains. So you could get another unit to hit Big Bad Bosses, but... It's just both with Angel Golden Frieza and INT Kid Buu, their problem is the links. It's just very difficult to set them up to succeed because someone will look at Kid Buu, right? And they'll see attack 100% plus attack 70%. That's 170%. He's higher than Super Saiyan 4 Goku, INT Gogeta, Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta. INT Kid Buu is the best. But here's the thing that people don't think about. You know, units like, you know, Super Saiyans, all the Super Saiyans, they all have the Super Saiyan link. So that's 10% right off the bat. And then a lot of them will have other common links between each other. You know, like the Super Saiyan 3s have limit breaking form. Super Saiyan 4 Goku is able to get Saiyan Roar. Like, once you factor in those links, they push those units past INT Kid Buu. Plus, they also have key links, common key links with the other units, whereas Kid Buu does not have that. Kid Buu, like, on this team, he's kind of just on his own, like, without key. Like,
he's a one-man army, basically.
Yeah, that's why the Bardock is on this list, because, you know, you have to support Kid Buu if you're going to use him. Because getting 6 key every single time, that's not consistent. You're not going to be able to do it every single time. And if he doesn't super, then he's pointless.
Yeah, exactly, but he does have that potential there. It's just a lack of any real links hurt him in the long run. But if you really want to use him at his best, you are going to have to run support units at the Bardock, like the Meta Cooler. There are certain situations like that where you have to make up for certain issues with the units by implementing others, like the ones that we just mentioned. But overall, he is still pretty solid. He has those attack points going for him.
His 12 key multiplier is only 140%. That's another reason that the other 120s like Super Saiyan 4 Goku and stuff are able to more than keep up with Kid Buu.
Yeah, that's another good point, because even those small little details make a massive difference.
Oh yeah, the 12 key multiplier is way more important than a lot of people give it credit for. Yeah,
100%. But because it's not in the car, people don't know about it.
Yeah, yeah.
So you kind of have to, like, delve into the DBZ space, and of course the Dokkan Wiki. But overall, he's solid. And now, we kind of spoke about this unit in particular before. We have the Golden Frieza in the 3rd slot. And you know what? I want you to talk about him because I feel like you've used him way more than me and the actual team itself at its best. So I think you have a better idea of why he deserves to be in this spot.
I mean, Angel Golden Frieza is a good unit. There's no doubt about that. I do think his links, he has a very similar problem as INT Kid Buu, where it's not so much like how good or bad his links are, but like all the teams in which you run him, his links don't properly work. I mean, if you get the TEQ Golden Frieza and make a rotation with Angel Golden Frieza, then you're able to draw his, you know, his like full power, because you could get Universe's most malevolent, strongest clan in space, you know. I don't think the TEQ Golden Frieza has prodigies, but several other of his links.
And
like,
can I just interrupt you real quick?
Yeah, go ahead.
And it's the same with Final Form Cooler and Full Power Frieza and Extreme Tech Team. Oh, Extreme Physical, I should say.
Yeah, they're able to really draw each other's power out. That's one reason why they're so good.
Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing. Angel Golden Frieza, if he had Shocking Speed, Nightmare, Big Bad Bosses, any of those, he would be a lot better because you could easily slide him in on, you know, Extreme Int or even this team right here. But the fact that he basically, like, the most common of links he doesn't have. Like, okay, even for the villain team, the Rose Goku Black villain team, I am not a big fan of this Frieza on that team because, again, he doesn't have Nightmare, doesn't have Big Bad Bosses, doesn't have Shocking Speed. He doesn't link with any of the units on that team, whereas Kid Buu at least does have Big Bad Bosses. So
I agree.
Which is the best link in the game.
Yeah, I agree. On that team, on that villain team, he is not good at all.
Yeah. The other thing that does hurt Angel Golden Frieza too on this Revived Warrior team is the second part of his passive, which is where he lowers not only super type enemies attack by 15%, but also your allies. And like, if you have Super Saiyan 3 Angel Goku and Super Saiyan 3 Bardock, those are units that are too good not to put on the team. So eventually, you know, you're probably going to have one of these Angel Golden Friezas as a floater, and then when he comes up on this rotation with Goku and Bardock, or Goku and LR Majin Vegeta, he would be lowering Goku's attack or Bardock's attack, which would hurt for sure.
Yeah, exactly. So I think we pretty much explained, or truth, has explained why Golden Frieza is in this particular spot, because on his own team, he is extremely solid because of the links that he could potentially share with the other units that you use. And of course, you're also getting a much more significant increase in terms of attack on his category instead of the villains. I personally use them on villains, and I was just like, why is he not hitting as hard as he normally would? And it's just like, those increases make a massive difference. On his own category, he is an absolutely great unit, don't get me wrong. But when it comes to those links, I don't know why he doesn't have Big Bad Bosses, because it's such an important link. I think it's just like, it's normal for villains to have that link now because of how much synergy it basically implements into the team. You know what I'm trying to say here?
Another thing to point out too is that as of right now, the Tournament of Power link is like dead. It's a pointless link on like all the.
Does he have it?
Yeah, Ultra Instinct Goku, Angel Golden Frieza, they've got Tournament of Power. But once that Universal Survivalist Saga team comes out, that is going to be incredible because that's a 3 key link. So that'll allow units like, you know, Jiren, Angel Golden Frieza, Ultra Instinct Goku. 3 key is massive. Right now, it's worthless, but in the future, like, Frieza might become a lot better once that category leader does come out.
Damn. Oh, I didn't even think about that. Could Jiren be that lead?
Oh, yeah. And that, again, that team is going to be really good because they're all essentially going to have, like, Over and a Flash shared with each other.
You're right. Even without it, that free healing of Lion makes... Nah, they've been teasing us from the start. You just know, they're like, yeah, here you go. Have this Tournament of Power link that not many people have, and then we will slowly start to build up on it. Wow, Bandai is slow.
The other thing that's interesting too is I believe on Global, Ultra Instinct Goku doesn't yet have the Tournament of Power link.
In one?
Yeah. On Global, Ultra Instinct Goku doesn't have Tournament of Power in his link set yet. He's only got 5 links. Whereas on JP, he does have the Tournament of Power link. So that's another thing.
For the event.
That's another thing to look forward to in the future for global players is when the event finally does come out and Angel Golden Frieza comes out, Ultra Instinct Goku is going to be getting the Tournament of Power link. That'll be one of his links. And then, of course, when he awakens, he'll get Fierce Battle. So that'll be his 7.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah.
That's definitely an interesting thing to point out. Be on the lookout for that Universal Survival Art category, because it's definitely coming.
Oh, yeah.
Damn. At the moment, it's not necessarily bad, but it's just because the lead is UI Goku himself, but he's the inferior one.
I mean, once he awakens, he's going to be really good. It's crazy to think that there's going to be maybe a better unit on that team than him. Whew.
Oh, Jiren. I mean, he kind of has to be, man.
Oh, yeah.
Vegeta as well. Yeah, I can see it now. Jiren, Golden Frieza, the new Vegeta, UI Goku. Who else? Gohan?
Maybe Kefla after she awakens.
Kefla.
Maybe there'll be a new Topo. Maybe something like Dispo will be crazy good.
That'd be dope.
LR Pride Troopers, who knows?
What's the, who's that big guy that they faced in one of the
Anaraza or Analaza?
Yes.
I don't know. The L and R, I'm not sure which one it officially is, but either Anaraza or Analaza.
Man, just so much potential for that category. I don't even think about that. I'm looking forward to it. New Super Saiyan God? Repping my Super Saiyan God, please?
Yeah.
With my boy. Okay, so moving on. We kind of went off track a little there. So in the second spot, we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I believe. Okay, so one thing I want to point out is that Golden Frieza is not in the top 10 hardest hitters list. And that doesn't include the LRs, by the way. Super Saiyan 3 Goku and the Bardock are on there. And that is ultimately what puts them above Golden Frieza when it comes to their offensive abilities.
Links, bro. Links.
Yeah, the links. The links do make a massive difference. And that is the biggest point that... And that was the thing that we were talking about earlier when we put the Golden Frieza and the Bardock around the same spot. But ultimately, the thing that makes a massive difference here, and you can pretty much figure out who's in the #1 spot now. So Super Saiyan 3 Goku in second, and the Bardock in first. And there isn't really too much between them. Bardock does have that additional First Awaken link, which is a massive 25% attack increase, and he shares that with the Super Saiyan Bardock, who was number 5 on the list. But on top of that, he also gives a monstrous, is it 40 or 50%?
It's 40%.
A massive 40% attack increase to all of your allies, or super allies.
I just want to say, personally, I think Super Saiyan 3 Bardock is like a really slept on unit. Like, he is so damn good, and people don't even realize because of the fact that his attack buff is applied at super attack, which allows him to hit way harder. And he has a higher 12 key multiplier than Super Saiyan 3 Goku. And, of course, if you get that support type buff of his, that 40%, woo!
I just think people don't like the Bardock because they're kind of fed up with the Bardocks.
Oh, you think?
I mean, it's just, look at Vegeta, bro. Look at... how many people do you see talking about him?
I just think that both Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and Physical Vegito have just been overshadowed by other things that have happened. That's what I think. Because those two units are like... I mean, you know, they're like basically the two best category units. I mean, I guess you could say like Omega Shenron might be a better category leader. But like those two don't have a ton of weaknesses, but they have a lot of strengths. Bardock in particular, like that's the thing, like... If we're looking at these units, like, how well do they work not only on the Resurrected Warriors team, but also how do they work on other teams, right? Like, Super Saiyan 3 Bardock has Over in a Flash and Prepared for Battle. So that is a gigantic help, especially, like, on the hero team. If you run Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and INT Gogeta on the hero team in your main rotation, then that will allow you to run like Super Saiyan 4 Goku and Super Saiyan 4 Vegeta as floaters, because they'll share Prepared for Battle with Super Saiyan 3 Bardock and INT Gogeta, and Bardock and Gogeta also have Over in a Flash Protect Vegito, so that makes the team work. So units that have both of those links are so valuable.
Yeah, exactly. And it's very rare now, because we have seen that they didn't give Vegito Prepared for Battle, even though they gave the physical one that. So it's just so much rarer to come by now. And the funny thing is, Vegito Blue did have the Prepared for Battle link when he's unawakened. He awakens, and it's like, yeah, have Over in a Flash, but we'll take away Prepared for Battle. And you can see what they're doing. They're trying to, like, minimize the amount of synergy with certain teams and obviously certain units. And I don't know why, because they literally slapped on, like, 5 key links for Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta, but now they're being super stingy with the links. And one thing that hurts the physical Super Vegito is the lack of shocking speed. That hurts him completely when it comes to the Ultimate Gohan as well. Which, I don't know, maybe it's just the units and the teams that kind of pushes people away from using those certain categories. Maybe it's just the banners in general. But, yeah, so we had a Super Saiyan 2 Goku in second. Of course, he does get a 20% attack increase per Rainbow Orb obtained, which is an extremely overlooked mechanic, but it still does give him a pretty significant attack increase, which I believe, don't quote me on this, I believe puts him on the 6th spot in the top 10 hardest hitters list. I know for a fact that he is on there. And then, of course, Bardock is in the top 5 for sure. I know that for a fact. Bardock is top 5. And the Super Saiyan 3 Goku is top 10 at the very least. Golden Frieza isn't on there. And on both categories, both Super Saiyan 3 and Revive Warrior, they are getting a 170% attack increase, right?
Yep. That's the reason. That's the reason why Angel Goku's on the list.
Yeah, like, honestly, exact same attack increase. Like, even if you were to put the Bardock and the Goku on the Revive Warrior category, which of course is what we are talking about, they will still be hitting harder than the Golden Frieza, which ultimately is what the game is about now. So that is one of the reasons why that they are above the Golden Frieza in that particular scenario. He will be able to tank better than both, but it's just not as relevant as it used to be. If we ever get back into a more defensive meta, then yeah, okay, Golden Frieza could potentially have an argument for being one of the better units on this list. But for now, this is what it looks like. Do you have anything? Yeah, go on.
Yeah, there is something I do want to add, and that's Angel Super Saiyan 3 Goku, I believe, is optimal on 4 separate teams. Super TEQ, Resurrected Warriors, the optimal team has him in a rotation with LR Majin Vegeta, I believe.
Yeah, you're right.
He's optimal on the Majin Buu Saga team, and he's also optimal on the Super Saiyan 3 team. So if you have him, he's so valuable to you on so many different teams, which I think, like, when ranking these units is very important, whereas, like, Angel Golden Frieza is not really that valuable on a lot of teams. Angel Goku is. Plus, you could also run him on the hero team, where he's great there as well.
So he's extremely versatile, basically.
Yep.
Whereas with Golden Frieza, you can't really do that.
Yep, just like physical Super Saiyan 3 Gotenks. He's so good on so many different teams. Makes it very valuable to pull on banners with them, because you're using them on a lot of teams, whereas some units, you pull them, and then you're never going to use them. Like STR Janemba. You got them, good, but you can never use them.
And it makes sense, right? I mean,
yeah.
There are certain units that just aren't as valuable as they used to be, but I'm glad that, at the very least, they are starting to buff some of the older ones. For example, the Agility Super Saiyan 3 Goku. He wasn't on a top 10 hardest hitters list for, like, what, more than a year?
Yeah.
And now he's back on there. He's easily one of the hardest hitting units in the game. STR Broly, another extremely good contender that is rising up the list. Unfortunately, he isn't in the Revive Warrior category because I don't know why, but he would have been an absolute beast in that category. Maybe they will add him to one in the future.
I guess it's because he's from the first Broly movie, where he's not, like, revived or anything, and then LR Broly is from the second Broly movie, where he's thought to be dead, and oh, he's back. So it actually does kind of make sense.
I kind of wish they pushed it, though, because I absolutely love that Extreme Z Awakening. But the main contender that could potentially be on this list in the future is Tech Perfect Cell. Look out for that. But thank you for joining me, my boy Truth.
Nah, no problem. These are fun. I love it.
Yeah, check out Truth in the description down below. Link will be there. I will definitely make sure of it. But I hope you guys have a wonderful day, and we will see you all in the next one.